of my notes that I didn't want to write about back to school tips for working adults, because I was a working adult when I was in school, so I know all about it. Number one, your timeline is gonna look different from somebody else's timeline. It might take you longer because you have to work. I think that is perfectly fine. You need to focus on yourself. Also, don't be like feeling like you have to rush. Like, if you can only take 2 classes a semester, or even 1 class a semester, until you don't have to work so much, do that. Because I think it's better to take 1 class or 2 classes and, be able to easily finish and get a good grade, than to be stressing yourself out trying to take 3 and 4 classes and you possibly flunk, or you just have so much excess unnecessary stress. Yeah, or you're missing school, missing class, missing assignments, because we all know, working students, you gonna go to work before you go to school. Unfortunately, you ain't gonna miss work for school. So yeah, just come to terms with your timeline looking different from other people's timeline. The next thing, surrender yourself to the knowledge and be a blank page. Okay, you don't know everything. Why would you be in school if you knew everything? Okay, just accept that you don't know anything, and that's going to make it easier for you to learn. I used to want to feel like I knew everything and I really didn't have to study that much, or blah 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 blah, and that makes it so much harder. That makes the school process so much harder. I think school is easier and it's more fun when you just surrender yourself to the knowledge, and you kind of accept that you don't know anything and that's why you're in school. And I think that is so much fun. Should I use my mic? I'm gonna put my mic in. Hold on. Okay, number 3, actively listen in class, and don't be so focused on taking like such detailed notes, because you have a book and you probably have access to the PowerPoint slides. So I think you get the most value out of school when you go to class and you just focus on the lectures and you just focus on listening. If you have a teacher, because I know some people do online school and stuff like that and there is no teacher and all that, but this is if you have a teacher and you going to class and you listening to lectures. You can take notes. What I found to be more helpful is listening to the lectures, kind of like jotting down reference points of things that I wanted to go back to and study, and then taking detailed notes of whatever like little thing that I jotted down. So I might have jotted down like I want to go back and uh, look at a profit and loss statement sheet and learn about that. So I just probably write down P&L, profit and loss statement, and yeah, and go study it when I get home, because I think the professors, they have such a wealth of knowledge. You be cheating yourself if you are distracted while you're in lecture. Okay, and this is probably the most important one, and I think people think they can skip it. I thought I could skip it, but you can't skip studying. You have to study, okay? You have to read and write your notes and you have to study. The what was most effective for me studying, I looked this up. I looked up like effective ways of studying because I really was never taught how to study, and I don't think a lot of people was taught how to study. So for me, what was most effective was I would study for 30 minutes and then I would take a like 15-minute break. And I would study for 30 minutes and I would take a 15-minute break. I never could focus like 2-3 hours straight through. Sometimes when I did study for 30 minutes, I would be so into whatever I was studying. I would sometimes do 45 minutes or 50 minutes, but I would always take my break, honey. So, yeah, take breaks. Take breaks, in my opinion, I think is so helpful to give your brain a chance to like just you know, just have fun. I don't That's not the right, not have fun, but like relax. It's so important to let your brain relax, okay? Okay, this is another important one. Read your syllabus and always go back to your syllabus and reference your syllabus because one thing that I didn't really understand when I started school, I didn't understand this for a long time, and I don't know, you guys may understand it, but I didn't, because nobody told me. I didn't have anybody like guiding me through school, telling me, uh, this is how school goes. I had to figure it all out by myself. So read your syllabus because college is like a point system. Um, Everything is points, okay? Attendance is points. Assignments are points. Quizzes are points. Tests are points. Projects are points. So see, not that you want to get a zero, because I'm not advocating for that. I'm advocating for all A's. I want you guys to get straight A's. But um see how the points work so you can I just think I think it's important to know the weight of certain things, really, also so you know what to prioritize. Like homework is important to prioritize. Obviously you want to do your homework and stuff like that, but you, if your quizzes and your tests are a really big portion of the grade, that tells you that you need to study because if you get a bad grade or no grade, don't do your test. Even if you didn't study, take the test, honey. Okay? You don't want to be like, okay, just but if that's such a big portion of your grade, that's something that you need to prioritize and take seriously because that one thing has the weight to really drop your grade. Not everything, you should take everything serious, but especially like projects and tests, you really should take stuff like that serious because if you slack off in those areas, then you might just fail the class. You might have been doing your homework, you might have been doing coming to class, but if you slack off in those areas that's worth a lot of points, you're going to fail the class. So you need to know how much, what's the weight of everything, what's the weight of the quizzes, the tests, the projects, and make time for it. Okay, I know earlier I said surrender yourself to not knowing the information. I also want to say have a positive mindset, okay? And know that you can do anything you put your mind to. Because if you go into this with a fearful mindset and you're scared and you think that you can't do it, I think that's going to cause you a lot of like, you're going to freeze. Like, what's the word for freeze? You're going to freeze, you know, and you just not going to do as good as I think you can do because I think you can do good. I think you all can do whatever you put your mind to, and you know your limits now. Don't don't be majoring in math if you failed math 100 times in high school now. Okay. I'm not saying that. You know your strengths. Okay. College will sharpen your strengths. And sometimes I think you can really put your mind to some stuff that you might not have been good at in high school, but I think college should sharpen the strengths that you already have. Um, but yeah, have a positive mindset and really, really believe that you can do anything that you put your mind to. You got to put your mind to it, okay? You have to have a positive mindset, and you can definitely do anything that you put your mind to. So put your mind to it and always have a positive mindset. And a part of having a positive mindset is when you don't know something, look it up. Okay. Look stuff up. Okay, y'all. This is the information age. We have Google. We have you have Galileo, you have a library at your school. You could message your professor, you can find some tutoring. They have all kind of tutoring services. So I'm not going to recommend Chat GPT and stuff like that, but Google, go to the library, talk to the librarians, talk to your professor, get tutoring. um because that's part of having a positive mindset. They say faith without works is dead. So um you have to go out there and, with your positive mindset, find the answers to the questions that you have. Okay, now this is a big one that I think helped me a lot. Go above and beyond. Okay. What do I mean when I say go above and beyond? Okay. um when you have questions, be proactive. Go look for answers. The answers are just not going to fall into your lap. Okay. You have to go look for the answers. And when you go above and beyond like that, I guarantee you it's going to make you a standout student, because most people don't go above and beyond. Most people, they make excuses for why they didn't get things done, and it just, they don't, it's not a good look. Okay. And when you go above and beyond, you're going to put yourself in such a safe zone. Your professor is going to give you more grace, to be honest, as well, when they see that you go above and beyond, because so many people are looking um to make excuses. I used to do that. Okay. I can't tell you how many times I was in my advisor's office, in my professor's office, on the verge of tears, and sometimes in tears, because I was making excuses. Okay. I was slacking off, and I was expecting them to, you know, them to accept my excuses. But when I started going above and beyond, I mean, like, the shift was night and day. My professors, I they would just be singing my praises. I mean, and personally, I love when people sing my praises. I think we all like that. And so I couldn't get enough of that. So it just drove me to be a better student. I would just constantly always go above and beyond, because I wanted to continue to get the praises, and I wanted to just I just wanted to be exemplary. So go above and beyond. Okay. You will not regret it, and it's only gonna make you feel better. It's only gonna make you a better student. It's only gonna be better for your success. And I think this one is the most important for working students. If you are a student and you don't have a choice but to work. Okay. I think when people say working students, they think oh, you just got a little job on the side. No, some people just does not have the luxury of their parents supporting them in college. I did not have that luxury of my parents supporting me in college. When I first went to school, my dad was sending me $100 a month, and I think I paid, my phone bill was like $30 or $40 a month, and so I had to eat and have fun with like $60 a month. And I don't know if that got me through. I don't remember, but I do remember back then I was pretty fucking hungry. So, yeah, some students don't have the luxury of, not having to work. I always had to work. So get your assignments done as soon as possible, because you acting like you don't have time, but you got time, but you just want to do other stuff. And you can do other stuff. Uh, you can work and have fun, but you need to get your schoolwork done, because especially if you're young, like I feel like I'm talking to people of all ages, but especially if you're young, um you want to get through school as soon as possible, especially if you're working, because it may already take you longer than somebody who doesn't have to work. So you already probably in your head feeling like, oh, I'm behind, which you're not. You're not, nobody's behind. um but it may take you longer. Okay, so you just don't have the luxury of slacking off. And I don't think you should be failing classes either, because you might be taking out loans or whatever, but why waste your money? Why waste your time? Do your assignments as quickly as you can. With whatever little spare time you got, do your assignments. Even if you after class, if you don't have nothing else to do for the rest of the day, go to the library and start your assignments. You might not finish it, but go to the library and start your assignment. Just start. You don't have to finish it, just start it. Okay, when you get home from work. Okay, you might be a little tired, get in your bed. People say don't study from bed. I ain't one of them kind of people, baby. Get in your bed and open up that book, that notebook, that laptop, and study. Okay, and do your assignments. Okay, I'm a big fan of studying from bed. Okay, open up that stuff and do your work. Okay, because most of the time you have about a week to do stuff like projects and assignments. You have about a week to get stuff done. Get it done. Just get it done. Okay, get it done as quickly as possible, so you ain't stressing and like, oh, I gotta work, I gotta do my assignment, and you trying to crunch at the last minute, and you trying to, then you half-assing it, and then you're not turning in quality work, and it's just not a good look. It's just, get it done so you can go ahead and get school done, so you can go ahead and quit that job that you don't want to work, and you can go ahead and qualify for a better job. Okay, yeah, this is my last one. I think I meant to do this one first, but whatever, I didn't do it. But anyway, organize your notes. Okay, personally, I like to have one notebook for each class, because if you're a working student, you ain't gonna be taking like more than like, what, 2 classes, in my opinion. If you can work and take 4 classes at a time, kudos to you. I think I used to do that, but that shit burnt me out so fast. Even when I started taking 2 classes a semester, that was stressful. So whatever you want to do, 2 to 4 classes, whatever you feel like you can do. But personally, I think you should get a notebook for each class, get some good quality pens, get get some highlighters, and also on your computer make a folder for each class, so you can organize everything that you have. um yeah, and I think that works really well for me. For certain classes, for certain assignments, I have a document for each assignment, like just like a dump, where I just, whatever ideas and whatever notes and whatever things that I have to do for that class, I dump it on that document. And it's just, my little reference that I have for each class. So make a folder. I would say make a, no, I didn't make a folder for each class. I made a folder for each semester. So you can make a folder for each semester, and you can have folders inside that folder for each class, and then you can have your little documents in each in each folder. Okay, and that makes it so much easier. Okay, when you have everything organized. And I know some people aren't. Well, I think I eventually stopped carrying a backpack too. So I'm not gonna recommend a backpack. Okay. I was gonna say get a backpack, but you don't gotta get a backpack. Whatever. I'm a fan of backpacks, but you don't have to get one. You can have a tote bag or whatever. Just keep your notebooks and your pens and your highlighters organized. Okay, so that was it. Those were my tips for working adults that are going back to school. I hope that was helpful. Let me know if any of this was helpful. Let me know if you have any more questions. I don't know what other questions you guys could possibly have. I hope this was helpful. I'm gonna make another video after this video about about going to college when you don't have a supportive family and when you come from a toxic family. Well, controversial. But yeah, I know that a lot of people are going through that. So I feel like I have a lot of information. A lot of I have a lot of tips on that. So I'm gonna make that video probably right after this one.